Come on. Good girl. Oh. Oh, leave that. Blow. Oh, it's a smashed frog. Come on. Come on. Leave it. Blue. You gonna eat that? Oh, Blue. Well, she just got a snack. A smashed frog. Was I even recording? Hi everyone, good morning. We are out for our morning walk. It's about 8 a.m. on Friday. Boy, it's like I could almost put on a jacket right now. It's a little cool, not cold. Very low humidity, breezy. You're probably hearing the wind. Really great weather. We've been having these very fall-esque looking skies lately. Very bright blue with big puffy white clouds. Looks very much like fall over the last like 7-10 days. So things really changed here from the sweltering soupiness of summer into the fluffy light feeling of fall with the drop in humidity and temperatures too. It's been really pleasant. So as I said, today is Friday, so we're looking at 1 week before we pull out of here. And I just arbitrarily picked a day, which turned out, I picked the 25th, which turned out to be on a Friday. And I think I'm gonna push it to the 26th on Saturday so that Dalen can be here and say goodbye to us. So we just passed the pond back there. I didn't see that odd bird. The heron was over there. I thought I was recording, but as it turns out, I was just talking to the phone without the record button being pushed. But the mystery bird there, I think a lot of you got it. Cormorant. I looked up pictures of it, and I know it was hard to see in the video. It was just shot on my phone, so I couldn't really zoom in. So it was hard to tell, but I looked at pictures of a cormorant, and it's pretty identical. Now, a couple days ago, another one showed up, and I'm thinking it's male, female, because they're not colored exactly the same. So I'm guessing that that's its partner. And so they've been milling around. They're not there this morning. The heron is over there. And one thing I did notice is that pond earlier this summer had a whole bunch of fish in it. They were like, pretty sure they're like orange carp. You know, they look like little goldfish. But there were schools of them in there. You know, I would see a group of like 50 of them. Or more, and I don't see them anymore. And so I'm wondering if the cormorants and the heron, I don't know that I'm saying that right, but cormorant and the heron, if they ate all those little fish. But anyways, those of you that thought it was a cormorant, thank you for picking that out. And when I went and looked, like I said, it sure looks like an exact match, so I think y'all were right. A lot of good guesses too from a really blurry video. It was pretty hard to see. It was just my phone, so not the greatest. So I'll show you a couple of things I did on the truck. The shoe rack, the new wall rack for my batteries, I got those put in. So the last few things I have to do, I've got to do an oil change. I'm going to pull out the gas generator and run that, do an oil change on that. I'm going to run the diesel heater. We're going to drive the truck around over the weekend, just to, you know, it's the same as it was, right? I haven't really done anything since the trip to Connecticut on the mechanics of the truck. So I'm thinking it should be just fine. And one of you is actually Robert. I read a comment this morning, asked me about my block heater. Did I ever get that installed? And I didn't. I had to find the parts. You know, I had bought that last year. I bought the new heater element and the cord. So I bought the cord and I bought the heating element last summer. And then I stored it away somewhere. And I couldn't find it. When we got here, I went digging and I couldn't find the dang thing. And I thought, okay, maybe I left it in Mom's garage somewhere. So I looked, you know, I have like a milk crate that's got some stuff in it in her garage. Not there. Finally, it turns out it was over at Dalen's house because I had put a milk crate over there of some stuff that I wasn't going to carry last winter, and she found it. So you know, I described it to her because I remembered the box, the color, the cord, the orangish red plug on the end, all of that. And boom, she found it. So I have it now. I definitely need to get that installed before we head up to Minnesota. So when I get up under the truck to do the oil change, I've got to look and locate, you know, where is the block heater? I don't know which side of the block it's on. I'm sure it's not a big deal. You know, looking at the new one, it's just got like a big ring nut on it that threads it into the block. I think the cord pops on. It has a clip, if I remember right. So that's what my plans are, and thanks for asking about that, Robert. Keeping me on my toes, right? Because we're going to be up there in northern Minnesota for the beet harvest. It's going to be cold, and if we have to get up, which we will, and go to work at 5 a.m., and it's been, you know, 35 degrees all night, that engine is not going to like it. Oh, he's upside down. That dude's upside down. He was upside down. Whoa! There they are. Got him on the camera that time.
Oh, there we go. You know what? Again, you can't see it.
Whoops, I forgot y'all were there. So this is the unglamorous side. I am cleaning.
Even though
it's a little dirty, like behind the refrigerator, behind the freezer, and I cleaned out. I had cleaned the fridge and freezer back when I first got here, and then closed the lids, and they were dry, I thought, but a little bit of like condensation, so I just cleaned them all again really good.
Honestly,
I've got the lids open. I'm going to let them air out really well. So this kind of tidying, cleaning is just, you know, who wants to live in a dirty truck, right? If I'm going to live in a truck, I want it to be clean. Today we're out in the truck just cleaning and puttering and doing whatever we can to get one step closer to hitting the road. Okay, I'm doing my best over here to tidy up. Look at the supervisor's on the job, right over my shoulder. So you remember I replaced these wires that go to my sink switch on the fly last year when they frazzled. And they were just kind of hanging back here, you know. I never really finished the job. I wired it up and got it working. So now I've just wire loomed it. Was able to feed the wire loom right through the hole out into the other cabinet. So it's got protection around it coming through the wood here. And I'm just gonna throw a couple of zip ties and snug it up here to my water line, the PEX line. And I did get one of the switches to add right here that I can use my knee on, and that's going to be an on-the-road job. It's an easy job. I'll just disconnect the wires from the switch up under here, and then may have to lengthen them, may not, and run them over. I got like a switch. It's right over there on the table. It was a 2-pack, and it's called a mushroom head switch. So the knob on it, I'm gonna call it, is like that big around, and it's like shaped like a mushroom. So it's a nice soft round button that I'm gonna use my knee and my thigh to press to activate the water so I can wash my hands without having to then reach up and flip the switch with a wet hand. That's what the problem always was. I was reaching back up here to flip the switch with wet hands, and even though the switch is rubber covered and it's got a little boot on it, this is the same type that was originally there. The water just creeped down in there. You know, this is fully covered with rubber from the top all the way down, but it must have gotten under there somehow. So what I did after I put this switch on finally and replaced the wires, I threw one of my rags or a paper towel over this, so I was never actually touching the switch with my wet hands. And that got us back up and running and didn't electrocute myself, thankfully. I've got the freezer here just drying out. I opened it up, even though I cleaned these out when we first got here to New York. There must have been just some leftover condensation. You know what probably was? I turned it off and it had some, you know, like frozen condensation on the sides that then melted. So it had a little bit of water in here. So I just cleaned it all out, dried it, did the same thing over here. And I'm just letting them sit here with the lids open to air dry. This needs some cleaning up in here. You can see I've had some spillage of spice. It smells like, oh my gosh, you know what it smells like? Right down here. It smells like tacos up in here. It's this, the Slap Ya Mama. That's what I'm smelling. The whole cabinet smells like this. So really riveting content here, but this is the behind the veil kind of stuff, right? This is seeing what it's really like to live in a truck. I never feel dirty like when we're living in the truck. You know, I keep it tidy and wiped up, and you know, you see what's up in the cabinet there. Same thing happens in your house, right? Spices spill, sugar, the bag leaks, and same kind of stuff. So it's not like, I don't know that this is any dirtier than when I used to move my couch and clean behind it, or you pull the refrigerator out and you clean behind that, right? Same kind of thing, same exact thing we have in here. And what I'm cleaning up is mainly dirt from out west and lefty hair. You know, that's what I find a nice little potpourri mix of behind the freezer and behind the fridge, and you know, cleans right up. So not really much different than back when I was at my house. Plus, you know, this is a lot smaller of a space, so I can clean this whole thing out, you know, spend a good day out here cleaning and feel really good. What I usually do and what I will do is after I clean like inside the cabinets and get all that done, then I'll get just a rag, a damp rag with a little bit of spray cleaner on it, and just wipe everything, you know, the cabinet faces, the ceiling, countertops, just everything gets wiped down. And that's the final step I usually do when I'm doing the cleaning. I've got a vacuum up in the cab, the carpeting. I think he really misses the truck. He loves coming out here and just hanging out in the truck. He just loves it. Look at, he is zonked. Look at those eyes. Okay, go back to sleep. I tightened up my bed legs. These hinges that I used, these locking hinges, originally I had just put 3 screws right up in there. So 1 and then 2, 3. But after a while of using them, those screws just loosened just a little bit, and it allowed these legs to kind of like that. So then I came back and added 2 more because there were more holes in this thing. So now there's 5 screws, and now they're not wiggly at all. So I got that fixed up because I knew if I didn't do something, they would get worse and worse and possibly strip themselves out at some point. Why is that not waking up? Oh, I wonder if the batteries are low. Let me give y'all just a last update on the battery system. Lefty's going to show us what's up. So I have the inverter is attached down to the shelf now, so this is its final resting place. Hey, let me talk to the folks, okay? Threw some wire loom over this black one just because it's not touching the red cable, but you know, why not, right? I have more of this large wire loom. I might throw a piece over this red one, but it is so sturdy up there. And both of my bins fit in here without a problem. The only issue I have, and this is a big issue, is I used to stow my bucket in here. Now the bucket is a mandatory item, and the bucket is not going to fit if I put my clothes bins in there, which I need to have. So I've got to figure out what to do. A couple of you in the comments mentioned, do I have enough solar panels to charge the 800 amp hours of batteries? And that's a great question, and it's something that I didn't really think about it, because I have 1140 watts. It charged the 400 amp hours with plenty to spare. I've been out here, like yesterday I was out and I ran the vacuum cleaner for, you know, maybe 20 minutes altogether, you know, plugged in with the inverter on, using the batteries to make AC power. My vacuum cleaner is, you know, plugs into the wall. So I was using, that thing pulls about 450 watts, my vacuum cleaner. And the solar panels charge controller, they were up at about 65 amps. They were pushing out to the batteries. Now, you know, the batteries, depending on what state of charge they are, they will only accept what they will accept. You know, they won't take massive amounts of power when they first start charging. They have to kind of ramp up. The 4 batteries compared to my 2 that I had, they're going to accept more power. So I can now like take advantage of my 100 amp charge controller even more, because these batteries will accept more power, which is good. You know, in the winter time when the sun angle is really steep and it's not hitting the panels as well, that's when you have the most challenge about keeping everything charged up. But I have an option. A company sent me a panel. Okay, I'm still here, buddy. Left. Come here and look at this with me. So this company, All Powers, they sent me, this is a foldable, you know, portable solar panel that you can set outside and then aim it so that it's pointing right at the sun. So you can see here, their check-marked method is pointed at the sun, right? But the interesting thing about this panel, it's 400 watts. So a lot of the foldable panels that you see, they're 100 watts or 200 watts. This is the first 400 watt panel in this format that I had ever heard of. This thing is big. So it's a 5 panel. I'm not going to lie, it's heavy and it's a little bit bulky setting up. 2 people would make it really easy. So again, this is from All Powers. I'll put links down in the video description, but you can't deny that having 400 watts of portable panels is pretty awesome. Okay, let's take a look at these last couple of little projects I did. You'll see the first one right there. So shoe rack, I can hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pairs of, hello. I can hold 6 pairs of things. Not boots, really. So I just used some self-tappers with some big fender washers on them. The shoe rack had some grommets here. It had 3 grommets going across. So I just utilized, I'm sorry, it had 4. Had 4 grommets. And then down at the bottom, just to hold it, I've got 1, 2 in the corners. This is not going anywhere. I have another pair of sneakers. And then I have my shower sandals. Excuse me, I'm talking. Can you let me chat? Huh? We just had our breakfast, right? Yes. You had some of your kibble with some nice chicken thigh meat in there, didn't you? Huh. Say hi to everybody. Good boy. And, okay, so the other item I did in here, Again, not the most exciting thing in the world, but that wall pouch right there, wall basket, I guess you'd call it, that's new. So I got it in this mesh so that I can see through it and see, you know, the battery that I want to pick up. So that's just mainly to hold camera batteries. Now it came with some more hooks. You know, I already have my key hook basket down there that I've used traditionally, but who can't use more hooks, right? So that is up there, just a couple of screws, and then it slides down over them. Again, that's not going anywhere. So the electrical system, everything has been working great. So you can see this cord right here. Shoo. So I was doing some vacuuming. I got us all cleaned up. Got behind the freezer, got behind the fridge. All I've got left is the cab carpeting, and then I'm going to wipe down the cab. I wiped down everything in here. I vacuumed out the cabinets because I had like some, you know how the bottom of sugar bags always leak? So I keep them in a plastic bag, but even that, somehow I ended up with sugar and some spices and stuff. So I vacuumed and wiped out the cabinets. So everything is clean back here, ready to rock. Got all of the bedding, I just washed all that. Mattress pad, everything's clean inside. So I'll be bringing that out here in the next few days. So that cabinet there is empty right now because that's where like my towels and extra bedding, dish towels, bath towels, extra sheet set. So that's just my, you know, bedding and towel cabinet. So that's got to get refilled with everything that I just washed. I had to put new batteries in here. I noticed that it wasn't lighting up. Well, it was, but it was barely brighter than its dim setting. So when you touch the top of it right up there, it gets bright for like 15 seconds. Stay right here. And see, then it goes back to sleep. So I was touching the button and it was barely getting brighter. So it just needed new batteries. It was still functioning, just wasn't getting bright. So you can see we're pretty cool out here. 66 in the battery cabinet, 68 inside here. It's a nice morning. It feels really good. Hey. Oh, one thing I never did talk about. So this is, you remember this is an Iceco fridge? Well, they sent me this cover that they make specifically based on which size you have. So it's got cutouts for the vent holes, and it's got cutout for the control panel. This is actually plastic covered, so if you're touching the controls and your fingers are wet, it's got cutouts for these plugs down here, cutouts for the handle. So thank you, Iceco, for sending that. These really do help. You know, if you can get one or make something for your fridge or freezer, it really does help. The only downside to this one that I've run into, and we had this, we got this in the middle of last winter, and I put it on, and I don't think I ever talked about it. The only downside is, because of the way it's constructed, it has to open this way. The only way that I could get it to open the other way is I would have to turn my fridge 180 degrees, which would put my control panel up against the wall. So I don't want to do that. So I wish they had a way that, because the fridge, you remember the lid can open either direction, so I wish they made the cover so that it can open either direction. That's my one complaint, I guess. I mean, I can't complain. They sent it to me for nothing, but if it opened the other way. So I just got used to it. I would zip it like just about to the middle there, and that held it down. So it made it easier to open it up. So I got used to just flipping it back like this and then opening the fridge. So it wasn't really, it's not the end of the world, but it would be great if it opened the other way. I had to tighten up my TV mount. It had started to let the TV wiggle a little bit. It was just the 4 screws that go right into the back of the TV, you know, the VESA mount. Yep, so it's nice and tight now. It's not wiggling. I got a bad feeling that TV is not long for this world. I'll try to catch it on video sometime in the future, but it started showing a little purple stripe would sometimes flash on the screen while I was watching video. So it's not the plugs or anything like that. I checked all of that. I just think, you know, after 4 years of riding around in a truck, it might be starting to fail. I cannot complain. The thing was only like 130 bucks, you know, 4.5 years ago when I bought it, and it spent its whole life in this truck. So I cannot complain. It's, you know, for the dollars, it was well worth it. It's just a 32-inch Vizio 1080p. It's not 4K. It's not OLED. It's not any of that stuff. When you're watching something like in such a small confined space like this, 1080p looks pretty dang good. And with a lot of the stuff I watch being streaming, because I don't have the bandwidth usually for anything more than 1080p. Yeah, so like I said, I'm going to get up in here and get this cleaned up. We need a good vacuuming and a good wipe down on the dash. I've got 2 upgrades coming for the cab of the truck. One of them is that, and the other one is that. So because of all of you that watch the videos, and I really appreciate that, that lets these companies, you know, the Joying company that's my stereo, the manufacturer of my stereo, they're a great company. I've bought their stereos, and you know, they got a hold of me and said, hey, would you like to get a new one? And they got new features that they just launched, and I said sure. The great thing about it is swapping this one for the next one, the plug is identical, so all I really have to do is pull out and unplug this one and then plug in and slide in the new one. No rewiring. Their harness is the same, and it was the same when I put that one in from my first one that I bought. You just pull the plug out and plug it into the new one, so it's a pretty quick swap, thankfully. And I asked them that. I said, do you still use that same wiring harness so I don't have to do any rewiring? And they said yes. So I said sure, let's get one. So that's going to be the upgrade to the head unit. And then I've got a new dash cam that has a camera that points inside, so you can see both me and that knucklehead back there while we're driving, along with the view going out the dash. So that's the cab of the truck, really just cleaning and then swapping those 2 items for new ones. I hope everything goes smoothly. I'm down to just a handful of days. You being a good boy? That's my puppy. I think I'm gonna flip the carpet around so I can get the clean end up here. Not so much that it's cleaner, but it's fluffier. You know, this gets matted down because of all the walking and usage, and that end doesn't. So that end's a lot fluffier and feels a lot nicer. So I'll just swing it around 180 degrees. It'll be like having a brand new carpet. That's a big boy. So really that's all that's going on. Just these couple of updates, a lot of cleaning in here, a lot of, you know, laundry. And I've got just these last, I've got to do the oil change, the block heater, and then these 2 electronic updates up in the cab, and that should be it before we head out. I don't know how many more videos I'm going to be able to get out to y'all before we head out of town. I'm going to try my best to keep you updated as we go along. I do have a review video coming up for the bike that I've been riding all summer. You remember when we did Dalen's e-bike and I was riding along with her, filming her? Well, I'm going to show you the bike that I was riding on, because I'm going to end up keeping it and leaving it over there at her house, so when I'm back in town next year I can go riding with her. But not going to carry it with us just because of the added weight, and I would have to probably put a front carrier on the truck, and that's not something I want to do. I'm trying to reduce our weight, not add to it, so it's just going to stay here, but I want to show that bike to you. It's a nice one. I really enjoyed it all summer. So that's our update. I'll keep you posted as we get ready to roll. Everybody take care, be safe. We'll see y'all again really soon. What was that? Huh? You grumbling? What? What's up, puppy? Okay. You want to go inside and make a video? Huh? Go inside and make a video? Okay.